Hi, folks. Happy time to do CBA work in social studies again. So exciting. I want to show you a slideshow to review some things on doing good research when it comes to big projects. And so we take a stroll down memory lane to do that. And our CBAs is a great time to incorporate the BDW from freshman year and working in Noodle Tools again. Why are we doing this? Well, we do have standards. We're not just doing this for fun. We get to say you're meeting standards of doing a sustained research project where you're gathering multiple print and digital sources, assessing the credibility and accuracy of the sources, and that you're avoiding plagiarism. Yay! So, freshman year, I introduced you to an acronym, BDW. And if you have a research project and you're being asked to have a variety of different types of sources, what could B possibly stand for? Thinking for a second, what could B stand for when it comes to doing research? Yes, good job. Congratulations. If you said books, pat yourself on the back, high five yourself in the air. Databases is our next piece there. Already talked about a little bit in terms of we'll review that today, and W is for the website. So be smart like DW, outsmart your teacher just like DW outsmarted her brother, and use your books databases and websites to find good information. So we'll be talking about book stuff when you do get to come to the library. I'll go over these slides then, but today I'm talking about the databases. So we'll be going to the portal here in a second. There are a couple different databases I want to show you. Two from the company Gale, our Power Search and our In Context High School one. And then our public library still has a great database called Opposing Viewpoints, which is super helpful for this particular assignment. We'll talk about the fact that databases give you those pre-formatted citations, so we need to make use of those. When you find an actual article, you're going to click on that little cite icon with the little quotation mark that the arrow is pointing to. It'll give you this pre-formatted citation that you can easily export to Noodle Tools or another tool listed there that makes it super nice. I'll also show you the library page where we have a list of websites that's been helpful for students in the past, specifically to get to the constitutional issues that are tied to, or the court cases that are tied to your constitutional issue. And last thing, we'll review doing a Google Advanced Search. Also, just a quick reminder, if you want to try Sweet Search or Virtual LRC or RefSeek, these are search engines that I introduced you to freshman year that are built for students. They get rid of all the crap. They just give you good, solid information to be going off of from verified sources. So make use of that. Okay, let's get out of this slideshow and actually start playing. So when you're ready, if you want to, you could stop the screencast and follow along with me, or just watch the screencast in whole. But yeah, stop as much as you need to. Get yourself to the portal page. You get the library catalog at the top. We'll be playing with that. Scroll on down past Sora and the elementary and middle school versions of the databases, and then we get into Gale in Context High School, Research Database, and the Power Search. Now, I'm going to start with Power Search because Power Search is not only searching the Gale in Context High School here, it's got their college level one, this other global issues one, their collection of ebooks, and all these specific subject-specific databases. So if I put in student freedom of speech as a possible topic off of your list, you'll see all these different types of results. So I'm getting BDW all in one place, right? I'm getting book sources. I'm getting different other types of sources I get through databases, so academic journals, newspaper, magazine, articles. Oftentimes they'll give you recommendations for websites. You'll be able to get that on your own as well. But if I were to click into one of these, I'm going to start with journals. Academic journals are definitely the upper echelon of where you'd want to be finding information. I'm just going to scroll down here to this specific one that's about this cheerleader that got kicked off the cheerleading team because she posted something online very negative about her coach because she only made the JV squad, not the varsity squad, and then she got kicked off the entire team, and she took that all the way up to the Supreme Court, saying that they shouldn't have kicked her off just because she made a post online about it. So if you have student freedom of speech, you want to definitely find this example, since it did go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it's pretty recent. Once I get in here, a couple things just to point out. If this is working for you, great. They also give you more articles that could be helpful on the side here, so you could click view all articles to see or related subjects as well. But other things to point out, if you need it translated, go ahead and translate it. Hopefully it's a good translation, but translate it into a different language that you need. If you want bigger font, or if you happen to be dyslexic and want to see that dyslexic font that's right here, or just want to space it out better, that's nice. Or hey, kick back and relax and just listen to them reading the article to you. That's kind of nice sometimes. So there's a listen feature right there. You could mark it up with highlighting. You can download it or send it to yourself. But the biggest tip of the day is to have the citation done for you. So if I click on this cite, I get a pre-formatted citation. Right now it's in MLA format. If you guys are going to be asked to do Chicago, make sure you click over there before you grab it. And you could either copy paste this into the tool you're using. When you copy paste, the formatting sometimes goes away. So you need to know the first line, just like it is here, first line has to go all the way flush to the left. Any other lines get indented. Make sure that anything that's italicized stays italicized, and that after you copy paste things in, you know the rules of how things are double spaced or single spaced depending on which format you're using. It's different from MLA to Chicago, and that things get alphabetized based on what's sticking out here. So you would have to do all that unless you use Noodle Tools, and then it would do it for you. So to that end, I'm actually going to stop here and click over to Noodle Tools. Quickly review that. So if I just go to noodletools.com, it takes me to this page. So you can start here at noodletools.com, click login. You have an account. If you're a Capital High School student, you have an account here. So then you get to the sign in page. You're going to click on sign in with Google. It's going to get you in. You may have to do a couple things, like it's going to ask you, are you still graduating on time? Have your grad year in there. So just click through and save. Or if you're brand new to it, go ahead and tell it you want to create an account. And eventually it'll get you to this screen. But your middle here will be blank. So this is the work I've done so far in this school year. And is it different? They did an update to Noodle Tools, so it does look different than the last time you were probably in. Any previous work is up here in the right hand under the drop down in the corresponding school year. So you probably don't have anything in here yet for this year, but you're going to create a new project. And let's put in, I could put in my subject, or I could put in the title of the project. I'm doing this as an example last night at a workshop for teachers. So I already have one in here, but I think if I just capitalize freedom of speech, it'll let me create another one. Nope, that's not good enough. So get rid of student part and just put in freedom of speech. It'll let me save it. Okay, so there's my newest one I've created. And so that'll pop in now, and I'd have to double click on it to get it to open. And now it's blank. It's saying, okay, you're ready to do a new source. So click up here to put in a new source. And what am I looking at? Well, I was just looking at something from a database. So I'm going to click on database. And what am I putting in here? Well, it's not really going to matter because I'm going to be copy pasting something. And actually, yeah, you can just go right back. I forgot a step. So I could be copy pasting it if I didn't have that feature. So if you get into like the JSTOR database, if it doesn't have the feature to, or any of the other databases in the public library, it doesn't have the feature to export, you'd tell it you have a database, and then if you know that it's a magazine or newspaper, you click on one of those. If you're not sure, you can just click on original content in the database. And then right here, you can quick cite by just copy pasting the citation into the box right here. However, if a database has this ability to export right in. I can just say export to, and then what am I exporting to? So it's opened up a new tab, different than my other Noodle Tools tab, a new tab. And it's just briefly talking to Noodle Tools saying, hey, do you want to put this citation into this project, the most recent project you're on? I'd say, yep, import that, please. And it says one reference successfully exported. Okay, great. I can close that tab. I can come back over here. If I go back to my projects and open up my freedom of speech project, or if I just refresh my page, if I was in this one, voila, I haven't done anything. It exported right in there. It says it was exported from a database. So that's the easiest thing to do, is to get in, go ahead and create your Noodle Tools stuff. And then once you find things in databases, if it has the ability to export it right to Noodle Tools. Or if you're paying for an account on EasyBib, you can do the same thing. Most of you don't pay for your account on EasyBib, so it's not going to let you just easy export it over there. And if you're not going to use Noodle Tools and you're going to use Google's citation, that's fine. You can copy paste this over, but you're going to want to make sure that it looks exactly like it should. And I'll show you what it should look like here in just a little bit. Actually, I can just do that now. I'm going to jump back over here and jump back out to my projects and open another one that has a bunch of different sources. So when I'm done putting in all my different sources and doing my annotations, whatever is expected at the end of the paper, even if you're going to upload your paper, you're going to need to get this work in as your bibliography or works cited page. So if it's MLA format, it's works cited. If it's Chicago style, it'll say bibliography at the top up here. But this is what it's going to look like for the most part. Again, depending on which one you're doing, MLA or Chicago style. At this point, I could copy paste this entire thing and make it paste it over to my other paper I'm working on and making it the last page of my paper. Or if your teacher just wants you to turn this in separately, you could do it that way. But this is what it needs to look like. That's what you're going to do, is you're going to go tell Noodle Tools that you want to print and export to Google, and it'll talk to your Google and spit out a title or a document titled sources for your project. And this is what the finished piece should look like. Alphabetized, first line always flush, other lines indented, and annotations separate. This is MLA format. Again, Chicago style looks a little bit different. Okay, back to finding sources. So I was showing you the work in the Power Search, or you can play just in this is a more simple one. I will say the Gale in Context High School is a good starting point if you just want something really simple. If you're not finding results, then you should go Power Search it, and you'll find a lot more results. My results for student freedom of speech in this one, I had like 10 results. Not great. You should have more than that. So go Power Search it instead. The other thing I want to remind you of is you have access to the public library, and the public library is using our money to have other databases. Your username and password shows up here. Yours is different than mine. So you will need to put in your username and your PIN or passwords, your birthday, month, and day of the month. This is specific to you. So you'll have to know your birthday, month, and day of the month to put that in. But when I click on this, it's going to take me right to all the different databases. You should go to the Teen Homework Help. And this is a collection of databases they think would be helpful for most high school students. Excuse me. And the one I want you to play with for this assignment is Gale in Context Opposing Viewpoints. This is where it's asking you for that information off of the portal page. So you'd be typing in OSD, and then for you guys, it's your last name, first initial, middle initial, right? Your username. So you're going to type in OSD Bonds, KD, last name, first initial, middle initial, and then your birthday, month, and day of the month. Now, I have one specific for the library that's different, but you do OSD, last name, first initial, middle initial, and then if your birthday is today, January 19th, you do 0119. If your birthday is July 4th, you'd be doing 040704. If your birthday is October 21st, you do 1021 and then hit log in. It's the same company as the other ones. Unfortunately, we don't have access to opposing viewpoints unless we do it through the public library, but this will be very similar. The power search does not search the opposing viewpoints. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So it's another place to look for one. Depending on the topic, you'll have lots of results, or maybe you won't. This one, better than the Gale in Context High School, not as good as the power search. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't play here a little bit, though. Okay. So here's another article from the Washington Post about that example I had about the cheerleader. Okay, what else the our library page. So if you get to our library's homepage of sorts and focus on the left-hand side here, to get to some good websites, you could go to Class Acts, guides related to specific classes, and scroll on down until you find the Junior Social Studies CBA on constitutional issues. These are websites we'd recommend you play in, specifically the first 4 to get to some court cases on your topic. But other ones here, and here is the slideshow I showed you at the very beginning. I just linked that there for fun. And what else did I want to go over? Oh yeah, a Google Advanced Search. Give this a try. You're just going to Google up Google Advanced Search. Get into it. You're going to put in your topic. You could come down and specifically set a last update date to maybe within the last year. See if there's any issues going on with it, with your topic within the last year. Some of them may have some, others may not. But what you need to do is set this site or domain to a .edu. When you do that, you're going to get only results that are coming out of the domain related to schools. And I can see that in the first chunk of each of the results here. And I just know that's going to be a good, helpful tool for you to get to some more reliable websites. Okay. If you need help doing actual citations in Noodle Tools, so if I'm back to my projects, this is the one I just started where I have the article from the database cited in here. Maybe if you're ready to do a website, if you've never used this before, you can keep listening. If you've used it before and want to try it on your own, go ahead. If you just want a quick review on how to do a citation of a website, since you definitely will be finding websites, I know you will, then stick around and we'll keep talking for another minute or two. You're going to click on New Source and a website. For 90% of what you're looking at, you can click on the fact that you're going to be citing one web page from a larger website. So you can click on this. If you're looking at something that's a PDF, it downloaded as a PDF, perhaps from your .edu website, if you did the Google Advanced Search, you might need to click on this report, technical or research. That's what usually how PDFs end up. If you're looking at an article from, say, the Washington Post, like we saw earlier, or the New York Times, or the Los Angeles Times, from a specific newspaper's website or a magazine's website, you can click here, although technically you're also looking at one page within their website. That's why I say that 90% of what you're doing using this one is going to be just fine. So I always demonstrate that one. You're going to copy paste over your web address. So that's whatever's showing up here when you're on your website. And then you're going to get in and find a date of publication. Usually that's at the top, by the title of the article, by the author's name. Look for a date of publication. If you can't see anything, you can leave this blank, but you do want to fill it in if it's there. You can click the word today and that'll autofill in whatever date you're looking at the actual page. You're going to look for an author. Hopefully you have an author. And If you don't have an author, but you think you have a group name, please don't put that in yet, because probably that group name is actually something that needs to be further down. Oh, come on, Noodle Tools. Move for me here. There we go. Further down in the information about the website as a whole. So the name of your website has to go in this box. And after you put the name of your website in, then you're looking for a different name of a publisher, another organization that owns it. You don't fill in the exact same thing. You don't, once you use a piece of information, you're done. You don't duplicate. So you can leave this publisher box blank if you think the publisher is the same as the name of the website, right? The New York Times is the name of the website, and the New York Times is not owned by a larger group. I'm not going to put the New York Times down in the publisher box. I'm just going to leave this blank. I'm also not going to put the New York Times in the group one. If I don't have a group name and I don't have an author name, I can leave that blank. If you have an author name, definitely put it in though, right? You have to give credit where credit is due. The other box that should definitely be filled in is this web page or document/article title. This is the big bold font. This is the title of that specific page. It's almost always a bigger and bolder font on that page. So fill that in, get an author name if you can. You have to have the name of the website. Maybe you might get a publisher name. Oftentimes that's down by the copyright symbol. If it's going to be different, go down to the very bottom of the page, look at the copyright symbol. If you don't see the exact same thing as the name of the website, leave this blank. Not sure whether or not your teachers are requiring annotations. If they do, this is where it goes in there, and there's information about the annotations off the library page as well. Jump back there real quick. Let's do that. If you need help on doing the annotations, click on this citation and annotations, and your guys's stuff is going to be the IB level annotations. That's where you're at now this junior year. So make sure you click on this, and it will remind you of the origin, purpose, content, as well as how to do the value and limitation of that piece. Okay, back over here. Once I have the information there, I hit save, and that will get me into having a website cited easily. That's it. That was long, but use this screencast. Watch as many times as you need to get all those little details, a little bit here, a little bit there. Before you know it, you're going to have a great CBA to turn in for your junior year. Congratulations on making it to junior year. And if you have any questions or want any help on this, or even have someone look at your paper when you're done to see how it looks, I'm more than happy to help with that. So stop by and say hi. Okay, take care. Bye, folks.